Hello and welcome to our training on the Science of Reading, Unit 3. I'm Dr. Weston Johnson, Principal Learning Coach with the Learn Coach LLC. I'm thrilled to be partnering with the Goodhue County Education District for this course. In this video, as a part of Unit 3, we will be exploring essential elements of phonics-based decoding. Each of these elements will help to deepen your understanding of effective phonics-based decoding instruction and how to apply this knowledge within your own classroom. By the end of this training, you'll be able to understand what phonics-based decoding entails, apply effective phonics strategies in your classroom, and analyze the common challenges that may arise during instruction. Let's get started. To begin, let's define phonics-based decoding. Phonics is a method of teaching reading that emphasizes the relationship between the sounds in spoken words and their corresponding letters. The gist here is simple. By learning these relationships, students can start to recognize how individual letters and letter combinations form words. Think of this as the building blocks that connect sounds to print, teaching how letters represent sounds for decoding and spelling. Phonics-based decoding forms the foundation of reading. It's what allows students to begin reading words and to tackle unfamiliar words. The ability to read words is necessary for reading fluency and reading comprehension. Furthermore, not only does it support all students, but it is also especially crucial for struggling readers and multilingual learners. With phonics, we give them a toolkit to successfully break down the reading process, making it less intimidating and more accessible. Let's talk about the main components of phonics instruction that we can build up from. Phoneme awareness, segmenting and blending. Here, students learn to break words into individual sounds and blend them together, skills crucial for decoding words like k, a, t, cat. Then, we work on grapheme recognition. And this is where we begin helping students understand that letters or combinations of letters represent specific sounds. And finally, we merge them together, and there's decoding, where students use their knowledge of sound-symbol correspondences to decode words. The four-part processing model gives us a comprehensive view of how students learn to read and recognize words. This model includes orthographic processing, which is about recognizing letter patterns and visually processing words. When students can quickly recognize letter patterns, it makes reading more automatic. Next, phonological processing is the ability to hear and manipulate sounds, which is crucial for decoding. This process helps students connect spoken sounds to written letters, reinforcing the decoding process. Phonics acts as a bridge between orthographic and phonological processing. By explicitly teaching letter-sound relationships, we help students form connections that allow them to effectively decode unfamiliar words. Semantic processing helps students recognize words by linking them to their meaning in and out of context. This connection allows students to differentiate between similar-looking or similar sounding words, making word recognition faster and more accurate. For example, understanding that bark can mean the sound a dog makes or the outer layer of a tree helps students use meaning to confirm the correct word. Contextual processing uses the surrounding text to support word recognition and clarify meaning. When students encounter an unfamiliar or ambiguous word, context helps them predict and confirm its meaning. For instance, in the sentence, "The dove dove into the bushes," the context helps us determine that the first D-O-V-E is a bird, while the second refers to a diving action. To bring this model into the classroom, consider activities that integrate these processes, like having students decode new words in context, discuss their meanings, and connect them to previously learned content. This helps students practice each component of the model in a meaningful way. leading to more fluent and comprehensive reading. According to the National Reading Panel, phonics instruction is one of the 5 essential components of reading instruction, alongside phonemic awareness, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. The National Reading Panel found that systematic, explicit phonics instruction significantly improves children's word recognition, spelling, and reading comprehension, particularly in kindergarten and first grade. They also emphasize that systematic phonics instruction is more effective than non-systematic or no phonics instruction. The National Reading Panel findings highlight that phonics benefits all students, especially struggling readers, by providing a solid foundation and decoding that is crucial for developing reading fluency. Including this research-based perspective strengthens our understanding of why phonics matters and reinforces the importance of a well-structured phonics curriculum in early literacy development. By strengthening foundational reading skills, phonics instruction enables readers to focus their cognitive energy on understanding the meaning of the text, rather than on the mechanics of decoding individual words. Effective phonics instruction is both systematic and explicit. This means we need to have a clear plan that moves from simpler skills to more advanced ones, and we need to communicate each step explicitly to our students. For example, instead of just presenting letter-sound relationships randomly, we follow a logical order, ensuring students master simpler concepts before moving on to more complex ones. This structure helps students feel successful as they move through each step. Think of systematic instruction like building a sturdy staircase. Each step represents a skill, such as recognizing simple letter sounds or blending sounds to form words. By ensuring each step is mastered before the next is introduced, students can move confidently upward. Without this approach, it's like expecting students to jump up a staircase. They may get overwhelmed or confused along the way. Explicit instruction is about being crystal clear in what we teach. We show, tell, and model each skill, giving students a clear understanding of what they are learning. For example, when teaching blending, we not only explain the concept, but also demonstrate how to do it, breaking down words like cat into sounds and then putting them back together. The more explicit we are, the more confident our students will be. Synthetic phonics is another key aspect. This method involves teaching students to blend individual sounds to form words. By focusing on blending from the start, we ensure students are actively constructing words, which strengthens their decoding ability. This approach is especially beneficial for struggling readers, as it breaks the process into manageable, clear steps. Effective phonics instruction also considers readiness skills such as alphabet recognition and phonemic awareness. These skills lay the groundwork for successful phonics learning and are essential for building future literacy skills. Early reading instruction ensures students begin to master these skills. A well-constructed scope and sequence is key. It guides students from simple to complex skills, ensuring they build on previous learning in a logical progression. Again, think of this as a roadmap that takes students on a journey from recognizing basic sounds to reading full words and sentences confidently. Without a clear sequence, students may feel lost or miss critical steps in their learning, just like our analogy with the staircase. The strategies of blending, segmenting, and dictation are also crucial. Blending helps students combine individual sounds to form words, which is fundamental for reading fluently. Segmenting allows students to break words down into individual sounds, which helps with both decoding and spelling. Dictation reinforces these skills by having students write down the sounds and words they hear, solidifying their understanding. When students write sounds and words, they're actively engaging multiple senses, which improves both their reading and spelling abilities. Basically, they're thinking in multiple ways as they do so. To make these strategies more engaging, try incorporating hands-on activities like having students use magnetic letters to build words while blending sounds, or using finger tapping to help segment each sound in a word. These interactive methods make learning tactile and memorable, enhancing students' ability to grasp and retain phonics concepts. To make phonics instruction engaging, we can leverage multisensory approaches that tap into visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learning styles. When students use multiple senses, it strengthens their understanding and retention of phonics skills. This approach is particularly effective for students who struggle with traditional methods of learning phonics. Visual activities like using letter cards, letter tiles, or writing words on a whiteboard allow students to see the letters and their formation. This helps them connect the symbols to sounds more effectively. Auditory activities like sounding out words or singing phonics songs help students hear and differentiate between the sounds. This can be particularly helpful for English language learners who need extra auditory reinforcement. Kinesthetic activities are also essential. Activities such as writing letters in sand, using air writing, or even doing actions that represent each sound make phonics learning more dynamic. Engaging the body and learning helps solidify connections in the brain, especially for young learners who benefit from movement-based learning. It's vital that students apply their phonics knowledge in meaningful reading of connected text. Using decodable texts is a great way to reinforce phonics patterns, allowing students to practice what they've learned in real reading situations. Decodable texts provide immediate application of phonics skills, building both confidence and fluency. Additionally, integrating phonics with reading and writing activities makes the learning process more cohesive and meaningful. For example, after learning a new sound pattern, encourage students to write sentences using words with that pattern. This integration not only reinforces phonics knowledge, but also helps students see the relevance of phonics in broader literacy contexts. Phonics instruction should also be connected with comprehension. As students gain confidence in decoding, guide them to focus on the meaning of the text. Ask questions that encourage them to think about what they are reading, such as, what is happening in this story? Or, why do you think the character did that? By emphasizing both word recognition and understanding, students learn that reading is not just about decoding words, but also about making sense of the text as a whole. Phonics instruction should adapt to meet the needs of diverse learners, including struggling readers and multilingual students. This means incorporating flexible teaching approaches, such as using visuals, gestures, and culturally relevant examples to make phonics concepts accessible to all learners. It's also important to extend word recognition instruction beyond phonics, covering multisyllabic words and morphological units. This helps older students tackle more complex texts. For example, teaching prefixes and suffixes and root words allows students to break down unfamiliar words into more manageable parts, enhancing both their decoding skills and vocabulary. By providing this level of depth, we equip students with skills they need to handle increasingly challenging texts. Phonics assessment is a critical tool in literacy instruction, helping us evaluate how well students understand and use letter-sound relationships to decode words. Decoding is foundational for both reading fluency and comprehension, making these assessments essential in identifying specific areas where students need support. Phonics assessments allow us to pinpoint strengths and gaps in skills like recognizing patterns, blending sounds, and applying phonics rules. This targeted understanding enables us to tailor instruction, ensuring students build the foundational skills they need for success. Early education is a particularly crucial time for these assessments, as they establish the groundwork for future literacy and academic achievement. Various assessment methods provide unique insights into a student's phonics abilities. For example, letter sound recognition checks their foundational knowledge of sounds. Decodable word reading measures their application of phonics in real words, while nonsense word reading evaluates their ability to decode unfamiliar words, free from memorization. Spelling inventories reveal how well they apply phonics principles in writing. Oral reading fluency passages tie it all together, assessing their ability to decode words smoothly and accurately in context. To make phonics assessments more authentic and meaningful, incorporate informal strategies like listening to students read decodable text or reviewing student work. These strategies can also highlight specific phonics skills that need attention, often leading to more immediate instructional changes. Progress monitoring over time is equally important, as it helps track growth, evaluate the effectiveness of interventions, and guide instructional adjustments. By combining formal assessments with informal observations, we gain a comprehensive view of each student's decoding abilities. This allows us to design explicit, systematic, and responsive instruction that builds a strong phonics foundation, ensuring every student becomes a confident, fluent reader. In the next few slides, we highlight strategies for teaching phonics-based decoding. On this slide, we have phonics pattern instruction. The purpose is to explicitly teach grapheme-phoneme correspondences, such as recognizing that the letter T represents the T in sit, or how the CH represents the CH in chip. Start with a structured phonics sequence using materials like whiteboards or word lists, and demonstrate the process with clear examples and follow the I do, we do, you do model to guide students toward independent mastery. Decoding practice focuses on teaching students to blend phonemes into complete words. Start with simple examples like segmenting BAT into B, at, and then modeling blending to form the word. Provide lists of words, beginning with CVC patterns, and gradually increase complexity. Frequent practice helps students achieve fluency in decoding. Encoding or spelling practice reinforces phonics patterns by having students spell words they hear. Start with a simple word such as mat and have students segment it into at. Using tools like letter tiles or dry erase boards, they can then spell the word. As they advance, introduce more complex patterns such as the silent E words like cake and gradually progressing to even more advanced patterns. This activity supports both phonics and writing development. Word boxes are a tactile method to reinforce phonetic decoding. Provide students with a mat and letter tokens. Say a word such as cat and have them push a token into a box for each sound they hear. K, at. Once complete, students slide their finger across the boxes to blend the sounds into the whole word, cat. This method strengthens both segmentation and blending skills. Repeated practice is essential for building fluency in phonics. After introducing a pattern such as the CH, ch digraph, provide word lists like chip, chat, and chop for decoding and spelling practice. Research suggests that repetition is vital to developing automaticity, but the number of exposures required varies widely among students. For some, a few exposures suffices, while others may need many more. Incorporating distributed repetition over time allows all learners to strengthen their skills effectively and retain what they've learned. There are some common challenges in phonics instruction that we need to be mindful of, and addressing these can make a big difference in student success. First, inadequate review is a major issue. Regular practice is essential for reinforcing phonics skills and ensuring retention. Consistent review over time helps students move skills from short-term to long-term memory. Next, there's the lack of application. Over-reliance on repetitive drills without meaningful context can disengage students. While drills are important, they should be balanced with activities that apply phonics skills in real reading and writing tasks. This helps students connect their learning to authentic literacy. Late transition to complex words can also hinder progress. Multisyllabic words and morphological units like prefixes and suffixes should be introduced early, ideally by second grade, to prepare students for more advanced reading. This ensures they have the tools to handle complex vocabulary as they encounter it. Another common challenge is inconsistent scope and sequence. Without a clear progressive instructional plan, students may struggle to build on previous knowledge effectively. A well-designed sequence ensures that instruction moves systematically from simple to more complex skills, giving students a solid foundation for success. To address these challenges, consider tracking student progress to ensure adequate review, integrating phonics into daily reading routines, and adhering to a consistent, well-structured scope and sequence. By being intentional and proactive, we can create an environment that sets all learners up for success. To make phonics instruction successful, use interactive strategies such as word sorts and repeated practice. These activities not only make learning engaging, but can also be incorporated in various and dynamic ways to reinforce phonics development. Also, employ the gradual release of responsibility approach. Start with I do, where you model the skills while students observe. Then move to we do, where you practice the skill together with students, providing guidance as they participate. And finally, you do, where students practice independently, applying what they have learned. This gradual release helps build student confidence and mastery. By scaffolding learning, we ensure that students are supported until they are ready to demonstrate their skills independently. Encouraging independent practice with ongoing feedback is key to ensuring that phonics skills become automatic and transferable to real reading situations. To wrap up, phonics-based decoding forms the foundation of early literacy, supporting students in recognizing letter-sound relationships. Using multisensory and systematic methods makes phonics instruction more engaging and accessible, ensuring all learners benefit. Finally, being proactive about common pitfalls in phonics instruction will help improve student outcomes and foster confident, independent readers.